Hello again, and today we're going to be looking a little bit at medium tank mission 12, the Incinerator. This is moving on from the episode a little while ago where we looked at light tank mission 15, aggressive recon specialist. Both of those missions, that one and this one, are probably some of the more difficult ones that I've had to come across. And well, what is medium tank 12? Medium tank 12 is Incinerator. You need to set an enemy on fire who is one tier higher than you. In theory it should be easy, but everyone knows that when you're trying to set someone on fire it never happens. And then obviously you stop the mission, you go on to the next mission, and then proceed to set enemies on fire. So okay, well, what do you need to do? Well, you need to be aiming really for the engines or ideally the fuel tanks. Now if you're like me, you're never going to remember where all of those modules are on tanks. So there's a few things to bear in mind. The first thing obviously is the engine, normally at the rear. Here's a Cromwell, tier 6 tank. There's his engine. Let's pump some shots into him. But no fire. Nope. That's not his engine. But he's not on fire. And whoa, hold on a minute. Now, German tanks. Here's a J-Panther. German tanks, you can actually get at the engine from the transmission by hitting the lower plate. If I can get his lower plate. Not the wall, the lower plate. Yep, no fire, no. Well, as you can see there, the hitting the lower plate and getting an engine fire is actually very difficult anyway. So ideally you really want to be aiming for the fuel tanks. And these are normally located, although it varies for each tank and you're going to have to do a little bit of research, but they're normally located at the rear of the hull, just above the tracks. So if you're not entirely certain where they are, then you know that's probably where you should be aiming. That's not the... Well, let's track him. No, let's not. No. Now you see his fuel tanks would have been at the rear of the hull, just above the rear wheel of the track. But yeah, I tried to hold him in place and it didn't work. Now there are obviously a couple of schools of thought for this. Oh, one minute, it's coming for me. Because once you know what to aim at, you need to know, well, what you're going to shoot at it with. I'm going to afford to take this. Now, you can see here, hold on a minute, there are a tier 6 and a tier 7 tank there. Well, they're all higher tier tanks than me, so let's see if we can deal with this. Oh, get the rear. And you see that was aiming for what I think is his. Don't know what that one is. What I think is his fuel tanks. But again, I don't know. I don't have the knowledge, so I'm going on what I assume and hoping for the best. I should probably go back and research that. But now I've made myself a little bit of clearing, and I can get in behind these tanks. KV2. Russian tanks like being set on fire, and there it is. Excellent. Can I get one into the back of the Tiger? Nope. Let's take it. He's burning. He doesn't have a fire extinguisher, and he doesn't have a derp gun. Sorry, mate, but you deserve to die. Yeah, that's just not on. No. And there, well, there it is. Well, that was a little bit easier than I've only spent this morning trying to complete this mission. I completed it the first time round on the first set of missions in the T-34, and it, well, if you've seen my previous T-44 replay, you'll know that tank for me tends to like to set things on fire. I'm not quite sure what it is. It's probably actually the way I end up getting in around behind people, but yeah. So you need to be able to pick a tank that will be able to set things on fire. And as I was mentioning before, I was rudely interrupted by that Panzer IV. There are basically two schools of thought. The first is to choose something with a huge big derp gun, something like a Sherman M4 or a Panzer IV with a 105mm. You're looking for something with a big derp gun that you can fire HE, cause an explosion that will set the modules on fire. The second school of thought is the one that I'm using, and that's something that's really fast firing. This T-34 of mine fires one shot every 2 seconds, well, less than every 2 seconds. 1.9 seconds is a reload on this, so I'm getting myself more opportunities to get a penetrating hit on the fuel tanks or engine in order to cause a fire. So yeah, so bigger tank that's going to be in one of those schools of thought. I prefer the idea of the fast firing tank. So something like a T-34 or a Cromwell will do a good job of that. You can probably get away with no, actually, you know what? No, those two tanks are probably the best. Because you're going to be facing against tier 6 and 7 tanks, which generally I find a little bit easier to target for module damage like that. And yeah, so just keep plugging at it, guys. Bearing in mind, yeah, engine fires will set things off, but your ideal is to actually go for the fuel tanks. If you go set the fuel tank to yellow, so if you cause some damage to it, then it's more likely to be set on fire. And if you destroy a fuel tank, there will be a fire. So it's not like the engine fires, which are a percentage chance. Let's look at the stats then. Come on. Yeah, I can see it there. I can see it. There it is. Right, excellent. A mastery badge. Excellent, lovely to see. Top on experience and on damage. And lots of credits made. Like to see that. And medium tank 12, the Incinerator. Completed with primary and secondary conditions met. Well, yeah. That was probably a bit easier than it should have been. I don't know. Well, until next time, guys. You've been oinked.